You know, Nigerians, we're natural-born traders. We can sell anything, from groundnuts on the streets of Lagos to Gucci bags in London. We love a good deal, a good bargain, a good hustle. But when it comes to international trade, things get a little more complicated than haggling at the market. We're talking about billions of dollars, not naira. And believe me, it affects all of us, from the tomato seller in Kano to the oil worker in Port Harcourt. So today we're diving into Nigeria's trade balance. Now, don't worry. I'm not going to bore you with dry economic theory. We're going to break it down, make it simple, and maybe even have a few laughs along the way. Because hey, who said economics can't be funny? Think of it like this. Nigeria is like that friend who's always got the latest gadgets, the coolest clothes, but also seems to be borrowing money every other week. We're buying a lot from the world, but how much are we really selling? That, my friends, is what trade balance is all about. So buckle up, grab your agbalos, or your popcorn if you're watching from overseas, and let's get into it. Alright folks, let's start with the basics. What exactly is a trade balance? Imagine Nigeria has a giant online shopping account. Everything we sell to the world, like our crude oil, cocoa beans, and maybe even some of those amazing jollof rice recipes. That's money coming into our account. We call that exports.
Now, on the other hand, we've got our imports. This is everything we can't resist buying from other countries. Things like fancy cars, smartphones, and let's be honest, probably a lot of those ingredients for instant noodles. That's money going out of our account. The trade balance is simply the difference between these two. Are we making more money from selling our stuff or spending more on buying theirs? If we're selling more, then congratulations, we have a trade surplus. We're like that friend who always seems to have extra cash. But if we're spending more than we're making, then we've got ourselves a trade deficit. We're in debt to the world, kind of like that friend who keeps borrowing your Netflix password.
Now, let's talk about Nigeria's trade history. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, to be honest. You see, for a long time, Nigeria was like the cool kid in school everyone wanted to be friends with. Why? Because we had oil. Lots and lots of oil.
We were exporting so much of this black gold that we were swimming in petrodollars. Our trade balance was positive, and life was good. We could afford to import all the fancy things. But then, as with all roller coasters, there was a dip. The price of oil plummeted faster than a hawk after its prey. Suddenly our main source of income wasn't looking so hot anymore. Our trade balance took a hit and we started feeling the pinch. This, my friends, is the danger of relying too heavily on one product. It's like putting all your eggs in one very fragile basket and then accidentally dropping that basket down a flight of stairs. Not ideal.
Section 4. Black gold and beyond. What we sell and what we buy. Okay, so we know oil is a big deal for Nigeria. It's still our main export, even though we're trying to diversify.
Think of it like this. Oil is the breadwinner of the family, but we've also got other siblings trying to contribute to the household income. We also export other things like cocoa beans, yum, chocolate, sesame seeds, those tiny but mighty seeds, and even some manufactured goods. We're talking about things like fertilizers, cement, and yes, even some cars assembled right here in Nigeria.
Now, on the import side, it's a bit of a mixed bag. We import refined petroleum products, which sounds crazy since we have so much crude oil. But it's like having a mountain of uncooked rice, but no pot to cook it in. We need those refineries to turn our crude oil into usable fuel. We also import machinery, vehicles, food. Yes, even with all our fertile land, we still import food. And of course, all those shiny gadgets that we just can't seem to live without. Section 5. Trades impact jobs, prices, and the Naira's wild ride. Now you might be thinking, Trevor, this trade thing sounds complicated. How does it affect me personally?
Well, my friend, it affects everything. Let's start with jobs. When we export goods, it creates jobs. Think about the farmers growing cocoa beans, the workers in the oil industry, the people packaging and shipping those goods all over the world. Those are all jobs created because of international trade.
On the flip side, when we import a lot of goods, it can sometimes mean fewer jobs in Nigeria. If people are buying imported clothes instead of those made locally, it can hurt our local textile industry.
Then there's the issue of prices. When the Naira is weak against other currencies, thanks to that trade deficit we talked about, imported goods become more expensive. That means your favorite imported rice or that new phone you've been eyeing just got a whole lot pricier. So, you see, international trade is not just some abstract concept. So you see, International trade is not just some abstract concept. It has a real impact on our daily lives, from the jobs we have to the prices we pay at the market.